Namaste. Um, just wanted to make a video real quick on this subject. So I have a playlist called Why Are Biracials Called Black? This is something that I've thought about over the last couple of years, and it's very frustrating to me, right? And maybe for me, it hits a little bit closer to home because I'm a light-skinned black woman. So, there's times when I was younger and different ways that I wore my hair, or in the winter season, I was confused for being mixed. And I almost had it asked to me like, oh, you're mixed, aren't you? Like that would make me somehow superior to being black, if I was mixed with something else, which is not the case at all. Especially now that I understand the genetic blessings of being, closer to African, the original melanated people, right? So I've explained it in these videos before that, I am a monoracial black woman as much as I am aware of. I haven't done any genealogy testing. Maybe I'll do it later. But from the last 2 to 3 generations, it's black people, right? And so I have, my mother was a brown-skinned black woman. My dad was a lighter-skinned black man, right? But then I've explained also that I have 3 siblings, right? And one of my brothers is like Wesley Snipes dark, probably not that dark, but undeniably black. I have another brother who's kind of cocoa brown, and I have a sister who's kind of caramel brown. And then it's me, which is kind of, I don't know how you would, caramel. Like I said in the other videos, my grandma used to call me yellow and stuff, right? And I look a little darker right now because I've been getting, sun all through the summer. But it irritates me because I've had encounters with a couple of biracial women who felt like they were inferior. Superior to black people because they were biracial. One was Arabic and black, and one was white and black. And don't get me wrong. I mean, I need to be very clear. I'm not saying this to throw shade on biracial people, but I feel like because black people are so thirsty to claim and accept everybody and not have any standard for racial identity, it just causes a whole bunch of confusion and problems, right? Like you even got people going as far as to say, Mexicans and whatever else are black people. Meanwhile, none of these people consider themselves black. And they take very high regard and high esteem to their racial identity, even though a lot of them in South America are pretty much biracial or monoracial, like they're multiple races mixed together, right? So follow me with this. So Cynthia G, she's no longer on YouTube, but she was one of the first people that I really heard kind of distinguish that. And she was saying how black women need to be very direct about who they identify as black or not, right? She was one of the first people who kind of unapologetically talked about it. And a lot of people try to make it seem like she was just being hateful, right? Like a lot of the stuff that she said. Cynthia G was very frustrated, very direct with what she said, but I didn't get hate. And so that's the funny thing, is when people speak truth and facts that people don't want to hear, they call it hate or harsh, or they want you to be quiet, right? But I appreciated her for saying that, because me as a light-skinned black woman, it's been a lot of times that I've been lumped in, when you hear this term light skin, they use it as a blanket statement for biracial women, any woman with light skin. And so now we have this dynamic of where you have black women who have been wounded and they have felt rejected or unaccepted because of their skin color, in their journey in loving themselves, which they should, right? We all have to have a journey to come to love ourselves, right? Some of them have gone to the extreme of trying to eliminate black women who are of a lighter skin shade out of, we're not the same. They just say light skin, black skin, and they basically, try to separate, us as black women based on skin tones, right? So, like I said, I had an encounter with some biracial people when I was younger, and a lot of them, I wouldn't say a lot, but some of them did think that they were better than black people because they weren't fully black. But the black people, the black community just fully accepts them as black, right? And that's always been confusing to me, because you have two parents. Even if it is within the same race, you're going to take on the DNA, the genetics, characteristics, behaviors, and things of both of your parents, even if it's two black people, two white people, right? Two Asian people, right? You have two different people come together and you're going to create a child. And that child is going to come out their own unique self, but they're going to have characteristics blended of both of those parents, even within just their race alone. So for the life of me, I can't understand why people have a hard time understanding this concept when it comes to people of different races having children, right? So for you to call a biracial person black, you're basically diminishing and eliminating their whole other parent and the whole other genetic DNA, ancestry, and everything that is the makeup of that child, right? And you want them to choose and to eliminate, their other parent, their other lineage, their other family, so they can say that they're black. Meanwhile, a lot of these people don't want to say that they're black. A lot of them have just fallen in line saying that they're black because we know the history of the United States of America. If you weren't white, if you had a speckle of blackness in you, you were not considered white, basically. The irony of that, though, is the biracial people in the beginning of the building of the United States typically had white fathers and black mothers because of what was happening with the disparities and the injustices of the slave masters and the inequalities, not just because of race, but because of misogyny, right? Patriarchy. So not only were they dominating and abusing their women, of course, black women were fair game. So most of the racial admixture, I think, at that time, the beginning in the building of the United States, was white men and black women. Now it's completely flipped. It's typically black men and white women. Genetic, but there's differences, but the majority of biracial between Caucasian and African in America is black man and white woman now. So for the life of me, it's just always bothered me, me for one, when I've had my blackness questioned and my realness questioned and my experience questioned. Oh, it's not, I haven't really dealt with racism. It's not real for me. I'm like, that's odd because I've grown up in a completely black family in the black community, that you would say that. But meanwhile, you guys are just embracing all kinds of biracial people who have two completely different races that make them up and calling them fully black, right? I've always talked about, it's funny how everybody called Barack Obama the first black president when he had a whole ass white mother, okay? So follow me here. I'm going somewhere with this. But when black people do decide to, I don't know if you want to call it gatekeep or just be very specific about who they identify as a black person, other races, kind of have a problem with that. Like, you can't gatekeep this, that, and the other. Can't gatekeep culture. You can't we can't do that. But meanwhile, all over the world, cultures are what they are because they've literally gate kept their cultures, right? Is it a coincidence that most people in China look the same? No, that's done intentionally. They stick amongst each other, they keep their culture within themselves, and they marry within their own race, right? Is it a coincidence that most European nations are Caucasian? No, that's intentional, okay? We can go all around the world with this. Mexico, where all the different nationalities and stuff in the world. It's intentional. They do it on purpose. And they're very proud of their cultures. They dance around in their costumes and uniforms, and they do what they do. But when black people try to create that space for themselves, it's somehow problematic, okay? Which is bullshit. Bullshit. I see through all the bullshit. I see through bullshit, and I call bullshit what it is. And I'm not going to allow anyone to persuade me otherwise. Go ahead, hon. It'll be about 10 more minutes. So, but black people, we just let everybody and anybody be black as long as we think they're black enough, mind you. I brought this up before, the artist Her. I love her music. Her mom is an Asian woman. Her dad is a black man. Okay. We'll talk about Zendaya. Everybody calls her black. Her mom is a white woman. Her dad is a black man. Okay. Who else is there? Oh, look at the beautiful cardinal. They say that's ancestors. You can't see it. Namaste. It's hiding in the tree. You can't see it. But anyways, and black people are very selective about which biracials they choose to call black, right? I noticed they typically always accept biracial females as black. They're not as generous when it comes to biracial males. They usually try to make them feel less than black. But biracial women, doesn't matter what, they're just accepted as black. There you go, beautiful. I want y'all to see the cardinal. Can you see the cardinal? Hide behind the trees. Namaste. Aw. Anyways, I told y'all the universe communicates with nature with me frequently, and I'm honored. It lets me know I'm on the right track. But they typically don't accept biracial boys as black as much as they do biracial women or females. And so bringing that back to some of my experiences with biracial, I had 2 biracial women that I was with at the time, and I wasn't really aware they were biracial. It didn't really dawn on me they were biracial, and they were calling somebody else a waste of a light skin. And I'm like, what the fuck is that? I've never heard that shit before. Right? So then those bitches run around saying shit like that and being messy and being nasty and looking down on dark-skinned people and thinking they're superior. And then you just group all light-skinned people or lighter-skinned people in that category. Then I'm getting heat and energy from black women who think I feel that way when I don't. I've lived probably a very similar experience to you. You know what I'm saying? It's going to be different because my experience is unique, but I am a black woman. So what the fuck are you talking about? Mind you, I have freckles or whatever. And here's the thing. I love me. I love my skin color. I love every fucking thing about my physical makeup, right? Nobody's going to make me feel and is me being a black woman, I'm not going to sit there and say anybody's skin color is better than mine. Not white, not darker than me, not lighter than me. I don't care. This is me. I love me. Can't nobody tell me somebody else has something better than I do, right? I'm alive and well in this body, and I take honor and pride in that, right? So the reason I'm going here with this, and I want to be very clear because I'm just, I picked up the phone. It was sitting on me, and I was like, no, I'm going to wait for a couple of days. Maybe I'll wait for, the kids to be gone to do it. But No, I felt the need to pick it up and do it now. Is now we have Kamala Harris, and this joke, this comical shit that is called the political, arena. It's so stupid to me. It's ridiculous, and I know there's a lot of people for me, but there's a lot of people who go hard for politics and voting and stuff. Like, they make that shit their whole identity, and that shit is so weird. And like, even if you do believe that voting is effective, like, you really have a choice on who they put in front of you to pass the agendas that they want to pass. Like, you really have an influence in that. And like I said, you have an influence it, but like, y'all don't be there when they tally this stuff up. Y'all don't know how this shit works. And then also the candidates. Even when Barack came up, where did he come from? Who's choosing these candidates? I'm sure there's many other people who want to run for presidents. You know what I'm saying? But y'all get the candidates, they have you. Then y'all think y'all picking something. Y'all think y'all really picking something when you're picking exactly what they gave you to pick. I could go deeper into that, but it would take a lot. It would take a lot for me to gather my thoughts to speak how I feel about all of that. But it's a joke. It's comical to me. But they've been playing in y'all faces, and y'all been falling for this shit like y'all do every fucking 4 to 8 years. So we got the dementia man who just dropped out. We got Trump, and then Kamala, who hasn't even, nobody even, where has she even been? Like, nobody's even heard from her since she pulled Hot Sauce out of her purse, but now she pops back up and she's about to be the president. I'm bothered by this because Kamala Harris is not a black woman. Kamala Harris, I believe, is a biracial woman. I believe she's Indian and African. I'm not sure. She's not a black woman. And you can see that, like, by how she moves and how she acts. That's the crazy thing, even with biracial people. You can see that they're different. You can see, like, there's usually something that distinguishes them that lets you know that they're biracial. And people try to act like they don't understand what it is. And it's not necessarily always skin color. It could be hair texture. It could be features. It's behaviors. It's ideologies, how they think. You have to think that they're literally, why would their parent of another race not have a major impact on how they view things and how they feel things and how they see things and how they experience things, right? Like I'm saying, nothing's wrong with that. And I'm not saying this to bash biracial people, right? Like, biracial people are people just like everybody else, which what I don't like is when biracial people punch down on black people or you know what I'm saying, compare their experiences to black people's experiences. It's not the same. You don't have two black parents. It's not the same. If that's the only thing that's different, that's what it is, okay? So now this woman is about to be running as a president, and they're going to try to really push her as the first black female president, which is bullshit because she's not a black woman, right? So now you already see the stuff coming up about how they're like, black women are rallying around her and all this stuff. So whatever agenda they have with this woman and pushing her into politics, right? Whatever fuck shit she does, they're going to try to push that on black women. Do you guys get what I'm saying? Like, I can't really go into detail too much. I can't unravel this as much as I want to because I'm actually cooking some spaghetti for my kids and it's been cooking too long. But black women, y'all need to be very careful, right? Because y'all rallying behind this stuff. Everybody out here running around, dancing and scoot booting and whatever they call that to Kendrick Lamar's They Not Like Us, right? And they love that shit because that's against Drake, right? Drake is a biracial male. So, of course, it's easy to attack him. Oh, they not like us. So there's many layers to that song, I'm sure. I've never listened to the whole song. But the most superficial layer is, oh, he's biracial. He's not even black. Right, I heard it was a part that they take him back to an N-word pass. He had an N-word pass. He's not black, he's biracial, but he does have some black in him, right? But, okay, y'all give out passes to, okay, but anyways. Y'all dance around Scoop Boot and talking about they not like us when it comes to Drake. Meanwhile, people are having a hard time understanding the concept of this Tyla chick, right? I don't give a fuck if she's from South Africa, if she's called colored or whatever the fuck she's called in South Africa. She's basically a biracial person. She's not black. She doesn't have to claim that she's black. She's biracial. Like I don't understand why this is so hard for people to grasp. It's not hard. I feel like people make shit hard because they like to play stupid. They want to stay stuck. They need to stay stuck. And if that's not the case, they're just ignorant and stupid as hell. That's the only way I can explain it. Whether she's in South Africa or America, she's biracial, right? So she doesn't have to say that she's black or she's white. She says, I'm a biracial person and tells up her genetic race. But no, here go black people. Why you not saying you're black? Here it goes with Amber Rose. They mad because Amber Rose said, I'm not black, I'm biracial. She's biracial. What is it that y'all don't fucking get about this? It's not complex. It's not. If what they call, if they have a tiger and a lion, they have that breed, or the Tigris or Tigon or whatever, it's called a Tigon. It's not called a tiger or a lion, right? A donkey is called a donkey because it's a mixed breed of two different things. But yet somehow when it comes to racial identity, people have a hard time grasping this concept. So my whole thing is, I'm not invested in this political shit. It's the same shit over and over again. And what do they say the definition of insanity is? Doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. And every year you get the same people doing the same thing. And I've had a few black people really try to press me like, oh, voting's important. But usually those are the black people who are out doing the petitions, getting paid $23 or $25 an hour for it. I've had two people try to, mind you, they don't seem like, one is actually concerned about political stuff, but the other one just doesn't seem, but she's getting paid for it. So they seem more mad that they're not political canvassing. That's what I'm thinking, that they're not getting signatures. Everybody has a right to choose. We're not forced to vote. Okay. For one. And some of us actually see this shit for what it is, right? Is voting always ineffective in every area? Who knows? On the local, state level, maybe it has more influence. But if you guys don't look at this shit and see this shit as like a fucking joke, I don't know what to tell you. I don't know there's nothing I can tell you. And I'm not even going to try to tell anyone anything because, they're going to flip that and try to make it seem like you're somehow unlearned or ghetto or whatever it is because you're not following the masses. It's okay to not follow the masses, y'all. It really is. But my whole concern is because y'all be so goofy and y'all don't know what racial identity is and y'all don't know how to discern and do stuff and y'all need everybody to be on your team, even people who don't even want to be on your team, people who don't even have to be on your team. You just call them, black, even though they got a whole ass Santa Claus daddy or a whole ass ice cream mommy or a whole ass Asian, and it's annoying. And so I think a lot of biracial people are confused, right? Because a lot of them want to call themselves black, but then they get mad at the black community. But y'all never have that much heat for white people, your other race. I've seen videos where, people in Asia who are Blasian, who actually look almost identical to the Asians, they're saying they are not accepted. They are not accepted. They will not let them call themselves Asian, right? Is that... I don't know how far that goes. I don't know if they discriminate against them. But those Asian people are like, you're not Asian, right? I mean, what was the whole thing Hitler was on? He was on a very evil path with that. But come on now. Every culture does it. Indian people go to India. Everybody in India kind of looks the same because that's not an accident. Let's say here in America, in rural areas, in certain areas, do you think it's a coincidence that everybody in those areas is white? You don't think that's a coincidence? Do you think that's a coincidence, or do you think it was done on purpose? So I'm just saying there's nothing wrong with having racial identity and being sure and knowing who you are and standing on business and being clear and stating what you see, But people blur the line so much. We live in a country where men don't even know if they're men and women don't even know if they're women. You know, we got people out here actually wearing costumes saying that they're animals, Therians and furries. You know, the shit is dumb. But here I am sitting here thinking about this. Like, somehow black women are going to end up fucked up over this shit with Kamala. All because y'all don't want to be... Hold on, baby. I'm about to wrap it up right now. All because y'all don't want to be distinct and clear. At this point, there's so much stuff I can make videos on. And, you know, like I said, when I get the thought and the urge, I just get on camera and make the cameras. I don't need all the clips, all the background music, all the extra speaking. Sometimes because I'm talking, it comes out like I know the thought mouth, you know, it doesn't translate as fast and exactly as I want it to. But I know anyone who's listening to me knows what the hell I'm saying, right? And give me time, because mind you, I had a lot of trauma. So when you have trauma, you have a hard time like putting your thoughts and everything together, right? But one thing about my trauma that I noticed, and maybe that's a part of my calling, is my trauma only was my trauma is as long as it was because people was on the bullshit like this. Seeing something wrong, knowing something's wrong, knowing somebody's doing something wrong, knowing somebody is wrong, but calling it right. And just making it whatever fit their narrative, right? But I'm just saying, that's what I'm saying. People need to be careful. And I have no issues with biracial people unless they're foul-ass people. Right? I have no issues with anybody of any different race unless you're an asshole of your race. And you're using your race to punch down on black women. I mean, I would say black people, but it just seems like everybody has a free-for-all on black women, right? Even black men. But you see this this ugly German bitch talking about how black women are no match for her with her nasty-looking ass. But yet black men are like, oh, this queen protector, I want to go to Germany. This shit gets exhausting, y'all. It really gets exhausting. And what makes it exhausting is like, a lot of this shit shouldn't even be if people were using common sense and fucking intelligence. Intelligence isn't how many fucking books you read, and that may come from. You may gain on your intelligence, right? Intelligence isn't how much college education you have. Intelligence is looking at what's around you and calling it what it is. Don't make this shit so hard when it doesn't have to be. So, yeah, I made a playlist a while ago called Why Are Biracial People Called Black? And I'm sure for some biracial people it's hard too because they feel like they have to choose something, right? They have to choose an identity instead of just saying, I am who I am. I am the child of this person. I am the child of this person. This is in my genetics. This is in my genetics. But you got black people always trying to bully them into saying that they're black or claim that they're black or just accepting motherfuckers who aren't. And then when those people act and behave based on their other lineage and their other parents and their other genetic makeup, then y'all want to be appalled. And like I said, I had this conversation. It's not about skin color because, like, I think people just think the darker you are, the more conscious you are, the more... Get the fuck out of here with that shit. Because there's a lot of dark-skinned black people on some fucking straight trash, right? Like, you not automatically no real nigga because you darker. Like, the fuck? You know what I'm saying? But everybody's allowed to have their experience and observation. But it gets muddled. It gets really fucked up and confusing. Call a spade a spade. Call a fucking spade a spade. This is why this world is so fucked up, because y'all just be running around so fucking doofy and confused and confusing the fucking kids. Now everybody running around her raggedy. And then the motherfuckers who come out and say, no, I'm not confused. This is what the fuck this is. Y'all want to look at them like they're crazy. They're not. Kamala Harris is not a black woman. I don't know how many black women are going to run out and vote for her. Whenever she does something or she's not even like, it's so weird that everybody wants to be so mad at Trump for everything. But when Barack was in office, they was like, oh, you got to remember, he's the president. He doesn't really have that much power. He can't really do anything. But when Trump is president, oh, everything he did intentionally. It's such bullshit, y'all. Let's stop with the games. But whatever agenda they're going to push with Kamala as the face of it, it better not fall back on black women. That's all I'm going to say. So I'll probably try to come back and touch on this. My babies need to eat. I hope your day as well. Namaste. Ashe.